Are you a beginner painter looking to get into watercolors? This is the set that got me started. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm KZ or Koizik. I'm a lifelong hobby artist, and after over a decade of doing digital art almost exclusively, I decided to dive into the world of traditional art to learn different mediums and re-explore and relearn the fundamentals of art. I hope you'll come along on this new learning experience with me. Before we begin, this video is not sponsored. I bought this set with my own money, and this review is my own honest opinion. This is the Field Travel Set by Winsor Newton. It used to be called the Field Plus set, and depending where you buy it, it might be called one or the other. The case itself is made of hard plastic that feels pretty sturdy and durable, and according to the Winsor & Newton website, it's all recycled plastics, which is great. It has a main mixing tray when you open the case, but it also has two other mixing trays built in that you can open and slide out if you need more space. The mixing palettes give you lots of room to work with because they're split into sections or wells, and the different sizes give you options depending on how much paint you need. The palettes have a smooth surface that's both easy to mix paint on and easy to clean up and wipe the paint off when you're done. It comes with a water bottle that fits into the middle of the case, and the caps on either end of the water bottle come off and fit into any of the 4 holes in the case so that you can have little cups of water handy for cleaning your brush or wetting your paints. When the water bottle is removed, you also have these 2 holes on either side of the box that you can use for thumb holes for a better grip on the case. This is really great if you love to stand and paint, or if you paint outdoors, or if you just don't have much desk space. The water bottle and both the caps have these little half arrows on them to let you know which side you need to line up to put them back together. The case itself also has arrows on it, which helps you line everything up to fit the bottle back into the case properly. There's also a little tab on the case and indent for it on the bottle, probably to keep it more secure. It comes with a travel-sized size 5 round paintbrush from the Winsor Newton Cotman series. This series of brushes is made with synthetic bristles and is intended to be used with watercolor paints. It's honestly a pretty nice brush for the size and for being included with the set. It holds water well and comes to a good point when wetted. One downside to the travel-sized nature of this brush, though, is that I find it to be a bit short for my hands. I like to put the little plastic cap on the end to extend the handle length a little and make it easier to hold. If you have particularly large hands, this brush might be a little bit difficult for you. A nice feature for this set that I'm not sure whether or not it was intentional is that you can actually take a lot of it apart if you need to do a deep cleaning of all of the mixing trays, which is really nice in case you get a bit messy in the painting process or you accidentally close one of the trays while there's wet paint on it or something. It's also easy to put back together, so don't worry. Just line the mixing palettes up with the lines on the case and push them back in place, making sure to get the edges of the trays back under the little tabs on both sides. This can be done with both sides of the case, including the section where the paints sit. The 3 sections that hold the half pans can be removed as well. And now let's talk about the most important part of the whole set, the paints. It has 12 half pans of their Cotman line of watercolor paints, which are their student-grade paints. They're perfect for beginners, students, and hobbyists. The colors included are lemon yellow hue, viridian hue, cadmium yellow hue, sap green, cadmium red pale hue, burnt sienna, permanent rose, burnt umber, ultramarine, lamp black, cerulean blue hue, and Chinese white. The paints are vibrant and beautiful. They mix together very nicely. They activate and become usable quickly, but as with most watercolor paints, they work best if you spray them or put a drop of water on them beforehand and let the water soak in for a little bit to activate the paint before you try to use it. I personally think the range of colors here is quite nice overall. It's sort of like a split primary palette with 2 browns and 2 greens. The addition of the greens is nice as a convenience color for anybody who likes to paint landscapes, and the browns are nice for landscapes or as a shortcut for coloring portraits. There's also a black and a white included for mixing tones and tints. My one complaint is that there isn't really like a primary red. We have a very orange color being called a red pale hue and a very magenta pink sort of color for the other red, but we have no real like pure primary red otherwise. But I think with creative color mixing, it's not too terrible to get around. It's just something to keep in mind. When I first opened them, I was having an issue where the half pans were sliding around back and forth inside of the holders, so I had to put blue stick tack in between all of them to keep them secure, and it really helped. A nice bonus included with this set is this little pamphlet that gives you information on Winsor Newton and the Cotman series of paints, as well as tips on how to use watercolors and how to do certain watercolor painting techniques like wet on dry and wet on wet and color lifting. Now we're going to get into some technical information about the paints for my fellow art nerds out there. According to the box, some of the paints in this set are single pigment colors, while others have 2 or 3 pigments. Essentially what this means is that the colors in this set that are a single pigment paint are a more pure color, and will have an easier time mixing with other colors. Paints that are already made up of multiple pigments are already several different colors blended together, and thus you'll reach the threshold for mixes becoming muddy faster because of how many different pigments are getting mixed together. It can also make it harder to predict what color you're going to get when mixing so many pigments together, because some pigments are more opaque or transparent than others, and some of them will overpower others in mixes. Some pigments are also more light-fast and last longer before fading than others too, so some colors with multiple pigments can fade in unexpected ways over time if one of the pigments in that mix fades faster than the others. None of this is a deal breaker, and it doesn't make them bad paints necessarily, it just means that you need to be aware when buying and mixing some of them. Another thing to note is that several paints in this set are listed as hues, which means that a different pigment or material was used to create a sort of imitation to that color instead of the official material in the color itself. Usually this is either because the substitute makes the paint cheaper to produce and therefore cheaper to buy, or it's to avoid the safety hazards inherent to some pigments that might include heavy metals like cadmium, cobalt, or lead. Some of the paints are also listed as being staining, which is very true with the Viridian green hue especially, because it stained the mixing tray here quite badly. It's not really a big deal though, and this does tend to happen with plastic mixing palettes in general. Here are some landscape paintings that I've made with these paints. I've also used them to paint this picture of Raiden from Metal Gear Solid. This was painted on terrible quality dollar store watercolor paper, so don't mind the strange paper texture. I've also used them as the background for several other gouache paintings that I've done, mostly just using it as an underpainting. My next goal is to do a portrait painting that's done entirely with watercolors, because I haven't tried that yet. If you'd like to see that in a video, let me know. I opted for this specific set because it has everything you need to paint at home or on the go, which makes it very versatile, but the set is a little bit more on the pricey side because of its size and all of the features that it comes with. Winsor Newton does have less expensive travel sets that use the exact same line of paints from the Cotman series, but are smaller cases or have less mixing trays or don't have a water bottle included and so on. For example, I purchased one of the smaller sets called the Skechers Pocket Box for my partner. It has the same line of paints, but with different colors and without any of the extras. Overall, I've really enjoyed these paints as someone who's still fairly new to watercolors as a medium. The price point isn't too bad for entry-level paints, and the quality is more than sufficient for learning and playing around. The case itself should last me a long time as well, and I'll be able to just refill the half pans when they start to get empty since they sell the Cotman paints in tubes. In conclusion, if you're looking to get started with watercolors as a medium, if you want a new set and want to know you're getting something decent for your money, or you've gotten yourself started but you're looking for something that's still affordable but a huge step above cheap beginner watercolors, I would recommend this line of paint and this set. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.